I think that we need something that connects digital and physical. This is a tool for creation, but also to understand what we like and maybe to create something different. I don't think the error is the arriving point. I think that the error is something that you don't expect and you find some beauty. You try to push the machine to do something that you didn't expect.
Welcome to an artist talk hosted by Playform Studio. My name is Mirabelle. We are happy to have you here with us today. Playform is a no-code AI for creative people, and today we're hosting a conversation with one of our studio artists, Mattia Cuttini. Cuttini is an Italian artist whose interdisciplinary practice is situated at the intersection of graphic design and blockchain technology. Cuttini pursued his education in technology and later reinvented himself as an artist, utilizing several mediums beyond visual, including music and performance art. Now, at the forefront of cryptography, Cuttini has expanded his practice using artificial intelligence. Today, he will be sharing about his art practice and his recent exhibition, Defined, Undefined, which is currently featured in the Playform Art Shop. Please join me in welcoming Mattia Cuttini.
Oh.
Hi, Mattia. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're just going to start off with the very first question. Can you tell us about your art practice?
Okay. So I've this approach with art that is basically between physical and digital. Starts with physical and goes to digital, or maybe sometimes go in the opposite side. And I've started maybe more than 20 years ago doing these small scans and so on, and trying to put in the machines digital, the physical realm, and then try to remix it some way.
Right. So, I mean, I think that your digital integration as an artist has sort of expanded, your origin as an artist. So can you tell us about your origin? Like, how did you begin your journey to become an artist?
Yeah. Sometimes it's funny because one thing gets to another, and basically what I do in this visual way comes from a need from another part of my path. Basically, I was first in a technical school, and then I was playing keyboards in some local bands of here. And what I was doing graphic to support these two activities. So schematics for the technical school, and then graphics for CDs, on records, on the flyers, and so on. And then I started to put all together. Then also from this practice come out also a more free form of doing things, not because you have to do a flyer or a communication, but because you want to try to understand what can happen if you play around and do the things in a different way. And as I can say, that there was this big designer from Italy, Bruno Munari, and he wrote this book that is called Da cosa nasce cosa. From a thing becomes another thing. I think this practice is still going on. And so from the analog part with Xerox machine, then scanners, then with digital, then now with artificial intelligence, and the path continues in this way.
Right. Yeah, I think that your practice, and especially your artworks from this recent exhibition, utilize this idea of from one thing to another, and how that passing between those two work together. And so you mentioned that you are a musician and you had a musician practice before. So do you find that your music interacts or inspires your visual work?
Oh, okay. This is nice, because when we started this month of digital residency, you basically asked me the same question, and I've told you that I cannot visualize uh, I cannot hear what I visualize, and vice versa. Now is a moment that I can play music, and at the same time I can also make graphic, and maybe sometime these two things will go together. Now my mind is uh, is searching from ways uh, to how can I say, you have got an image, maybe this. What is the sound of this image? Okay. Now in this path of digital residence, I'm trying to put also this together, and you will see in the artworks maybe the next weeks. It's a secret.
Right, right. But I think it's really interesting that you have this music origin and
Yeah.
then you've transitioned to visual work. And
Mhm.
in both of those practices, we find this like center core between, as you mentioned earlier, one thing changing to another. And I think that
Absolutely.
throughout,
Absolutely.
regardless of what the outcome is in your creation, you're still utilizing this idea.
Yeah,
And that's,
it's
yeah,
like a red wire. How do you call it in English?
a
Yeah,
thread.
I read thread. Okay, because I really enjoy doing an artificial thing that comes natural, and vice versa. This happens also with music. I have done in the past some recordings, field recordings, and then I've manipulated them, and basically this sound is not is not more is not natural anymore. But also I have done these graphic things that are also very digital, but if I cut it with the laser, they become real.
Right.
So I find that this is the key, maybe.
Yeah, this is the thread between all of your
Mhm.
practices, this concept. And so you just showed us something that you created, and I see that there's artwork behind you. Could you
Mhm.
walk us through your studio
Yeah,
and give us a little
absolutely,
tour?
absolutely. This is the enlarged version of what I've started to do in the first lockdown in Italy, and then with Playform I have enlarged this to the size, because before there was not upscaling, and so there are a lot of technical. And I am hosted in this co-working in Udine, that is in northeast of Italy, and I'm really lucky to have this space. Oops, spoiler. And basically, it's funny because here I started to do in 2017 the first laser cuts. I've created this small Kickstarter project, and I needed a place where to laser cut these pieces that you have seen before. And now I put for you this table. I don't know if you can see clearly.
Yeah,
Basically,
I can see great.
these are two series of 30 pieces, each one, that I've used to feed the the software of Playform platform. And I wanted to recreate this texture on the surface of the artworks, because lately I am doing with canvas. I am doing rubber stamps with canvas. This is paper, and then I've rubber stamped on it. I tried to recreate this texture, because I found that these random patterns look really cool instead
Mm,
of plain paper. And basically, I created these two series of works. So basically, there are 60 original artworks. Then I've also remixed them with the software on my computer, and then I have feed the Playform artificial intelligence with this stuff. I've created a ton of material, and then I have reassembled them in the final artworks. I don't know if we want to unveil them now or later.
yeah, we can show them now. I mean, why not? Or
Okay.
if you wanted to also, you could potentially, um, walk us through kind of how you created those works. Like if you could show the material and,
Okay.
process.
When I started the digital residence, uh, I thought to myself, okay, let's do this thing that I haven't had the chance to do before. So basically, I created these artworks only for doing this residence. But in the meantime, between April and now, the artificial intelligence of Playform or even me has become smarter, I suppose,
Right.
because every output that I had, I can show you if you want. If I share the screen, I don't know if I can. This. Can you see?
No.
Share. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
If you can see the artworks, I can show you. The machine basically is too good for me. These are the inputs, the 30 inputs scanned by me by hand, one by one. Okay, different, but also really similar. I can say in some way that they are all brothers for me. They are all similar, but with these differences. Okay, now I try to exit here. Then the results, if you look at them, are really pretty. But for me, these are homework. Okay, these are a really good job, even too much good. How can I say? This is one piece that I can do even by myself. I wanted to find some way new things. I wanted to find the error, like in the video that you've played at the start of the.
Yeah, can you talk more about, first of all, I guess, how you aim to create error using Playform?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have reassembled these images in these small mandalas, like this one. Okay, I tried to put these textures in a form of 90 degrees and 45 degrees, and basically the machine doesn't understand how to control these two different patterns. In fact, if we can see in the results, they are really beautiful because there is half artwork in a grid of 90 degrees and half in 45. It's like if the machine cannot understand what is better to simulate what I wanted. But it wasn't enough for me, you know. So this is, for me, these kind of artworks are the defined one, okay? The machine can find a texture, can find a way to simulate what I do, and then it creates this thing. These are the defined for me. To create the undefined, as I call them, you can see. Oh, I have to unshare, sorry. This is a defined one, as I call them. It's really regular, really pretty, too much pretty. And these are the undefined for me. So basically, you can find everything here. You can find the grid that is not so regular. That you can find these stains and so on. To do this, I had to do some way a glitch. So basically, tell me.
A glitch, yes.
Yeah, I had to recreate this, and basically I have done on the scanner everything that you don't have to do with the scanner. So I've shaken it, I have opened the lid, I've put something inside, plastic and pieces of paper, whatever I found around, and the results are really pretty. This is exactly what I wanted. And this is incredible because this is only the last result. If you go back in the history, you have all these levels where the machine tries to understand what to do. Or other one, I don't want to spoil you too much the results. I love this. I love this. You know, these colors that you can see in the bottom left are basically because I've shaken the scanner and the originals presents some color that is not in the original, because when you shake the scanner, the machine cannot understand what color is. So this rainbow that is in the bottom left is created from this. And then I have assembled them together. Tell me.
And since we kind of you're showing us kind of your process using Playform, could you also maybe share how using a system like Playform has expanded your body of work, and like what part of Playform is most
Absolutely,
relevant?
absolutely. And I don't know, it's like to have a co-worker behind me or on my side. And so basically what I do is to feed the machine even with more tests. And the beauty of having the digital residency is that you don't have limits, basically, because you can do whatever you want. And this gives you some freedom, but also you can do a lot of experiments. And in fact, my last artworks, I have done them in basically one day, because I have already understood what the machine will get out from my practice. And I have yet to explore the video part. That is really interesting and time consuming. So also I have to explore even more.
And you mentioned just now that kind of you can sort of expect what the machine is going to output because you have used the system for, a while now as the resident. But in the beginning, was it ever challenging to kind of figure out or understand the AI machine learning and how that works?
It was really funny, because if I give to the machine too much similar material, the machine the results are similar. When you give to a good software a good input, then the output is basically something that you expect. And the funny thing is to create these errors. It's really funny, because when you put one error, what happens? If are two, if are three, basically you can do months and months of digital residence upon this, and try to understand what is better, what it works better. Now, lately, I am lucky, because what I do hasn't got too much colors. Basically, you know that I work basically in black and white, then there are some spot of colors. This is good because you can feed the machine with very high resolution images, because the lack of colors. And in fact, the outputs also present my small grid, and this is interesting. Yeah.
It is really interesting. And, you and I have talked previously about your journey as a digital artist, and you mentioned in the past that you worked with Xerox copier machines.
Yeah.
And you shook them and you tried to create error from them. Do you find that kind of led you to, Playform and your practice using Playform?
Yeah, absolutely. I was fascinated from this AI and generated art, but I don't know. It's like when you see a pretty image of a landscape, okay? And you say, okay, this is a good photography, this is a good artwork, but in my vision, it was okay. It was already done. You can feed the machine with these bodies, and then the machine gives you all these outputs with these bodies deformed. And okay, this is ready. But I wanted more, and it was interesting because Playform is the right solution if you want to do a fast test of what you have. I was in lockdown. I was on my home. I didn't have my rubber stamps to create artwork. I give that a chance to Playform, feed it with 10 years of Xerox work, and the results are these. And these small parts are really what I do, but I haven't do them directly. And also to choose between all these outputs is another work. And I have tried to refeed the machine to create other artworks. And this is a process that goes and can go maybe in the future,
Forever. Yeah,
forever. Yeah, exactly. And I hope that also the software will grow with me,
right.
because
Yeah,
you grow, the software grows, because there is people that is enhancing them, but also I grow because I understand better what to feed to the machine.
mm,
It's crazy. It's like to have a photocopier that you can understand, okay, these are the limits of the physical part, but then there are digital limits in this case.
right. And for me, watching you throughout this residency, I was able to kind of get firsthand your practice. And, I think that a lot of it involved trial and error and feeding the machine and then taking those outputs and then refeeding them again and going back and forth between the physical and then the AI. And so, kind of what I saw from that is that your practice is cyclical and it's ongoing. And do you ever know when one of your works is like done or finished?
Yeah. This is the magic. This is the magic that happens, that I cannot understand even by myself. There are some images that capture me, and then I say, this is the one. This is good.
Mm.
You have only to put them, and I have created in this new series, this um, how can I say? I put them together in a way that they are organic, even if the inputs are different and the outputs are from different. They look, this collection, I think, is organic. I am used to say that the artwork have to speak and have to speak also one to another. If I create an artwork that has got some colors and some ideas, some weights on it, maybe you need also another artwork that has got all the same principles, or basically the opposite. Sometimes it reminds me like it is a scale, okay, with the weights on it, and you know, I cannot explain you what is. I have some ways to do this, but this system is ever changing. Okay,
Mm.
uh, when I started this residence, I told myself, okay, let's do this, and then maybe I will do my mandalas with these rubber stamps. And in fact, that 1 week ago, I told you, okay, I've done these mandalas. While I was doing this, I was told myself, but it's not the output that I want from this. I wanted to create more because we talked about this. We talked about this path because we talked about what people sees in my works, and then this activated maybe some kind of ideas, and then I put them together to create these maps, or not maps. Who knows?
Right. These errors, these glitches. And I think
Mhm.
that also, for me, watching you expand your practice utilizing AI, um, you have been able to kind of, like you said, make the AI your companion and your assistant. You've been able
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
really train it and make it one of your
Yeah, yeah.
partners in this process. And so, do you do you find that using AI in art has been helpful or expanded, you know, your influences and your your body of
Yeah,
work?
absolutely. Because when you do some cycles with a machine with an input that is clean or even assembled, you can understand what is this red thread. Okay, it comes out naturally because the outputs are a mirror some way of this, but in a cool way, because the machine understands, okay, you have put in your artworks, for example, these large black blocks, and then in every single output, this black block came out. So I created a second series that is different just because of this.
Right.
It's like having a baby, you know. It's like having a child that you teach to the child how he's talking. It's like the
Mhm.
same.
That's a really interesting way to look at it, as kind of a baby, because it is learning everything from you. And it's your responsibility as the artist to choose what you're inputting, to curate it, to reprocess it, and to train it. And that
Absolutely.
is, the beauty of Playform, is having that responsibility over machine.
You have to play too with Playform Mirabel.
Oh, I have several times. I love it. I love it. It's a great way to experiment. And that, I think, has also been important in your practice as well. So, you are defined as a crypto artist. Um,
They
can you
say.
can you tell us more about, how you began your process as a crypto artist and what that means?
Okay, long story short, 2 years ago, I was sharing my creations in the main social networks, and then a friend of mine, Massimo Franceschetti, known as X6C, basically he told me, "Oh, you have to tokenize these things," and then it started like it was another platform, another social platform, like it was 15 years ago in DeviantArt. Now, basically, I told myself, it's like the Instagram of blockchain,
Mm,
but is not. This is the magic secret. Like in my processes, when you take a path and you start this thing, you understand that there is also other people that gives you a value upon what you do.
mm,
And this, how can I say, uh, this make me give to myself some questions. What can I do to add value? I
mm,
am doing 100% of what I can do, and so this journey has begun. Then, from another thing, start another thing.
right.
I have put together all the things that are around me. So the practice with the no-profit association, the practice with the funds, and the practice with characters, and so on. So basically, all these things together sometimes are pulling me to one side and to another side. Then I have started with the Playform. Then I have got some pose in this, and then I started to do something different, because I get bored after after some time. In fact, I am also how can I say, it's 2 years that I'm doing rubber stamps. I cannot understand why I'm also doing this and not get bored. I
Mm,
don't know. Maybe it will happen. And crypto art, who knows? Is changing every day. We are used to say that 1 month in crypto art is 1 year in normal life. It all goes with the speed of light. There are always new platforms, new players, new collectors, new artists, new is whatever.
right. And it's so fresh and new, so is Playform. And I know that as an artist, you're always seeking the new, and you're
Hmm.
seeking different technologies and new ways to create. Um, and I remember you once kind of you you compared Playform to the rise of the internet, as like a new, fresh way to
Yeah,
create.
absolutely, absolutely.
How has Playform and using Playform expanded your process as a crypto artist? Could you talk about that connection?
Yeah, what I do with Playform is also doing some small tests for me. When a test is good, then I go back and I try to understand what I can create to fit better the machine.
Mhm.
This is nice because I have an example, one for other people knows me because Also, I have done these small eyes, black, white, and red. They are all different, very graphical, very random. Okay, I have created this because there's another guy that is doing these portraits without eyes. His name is Kai Golke, and maybe it was for this that I was starting doing these eyes. Okay, when I started, I have created these eyes very modular. Okay, the eye always the same form. The I don't know the names of the eye in English, but all the parts of the eye always similar. And then Playform basically has given me one result. Every eye was similar. Okay, I thought. So what Playform understands is the modularity of my work. I don't have to be modular. And was great for me because I never thought this way. The machine give it to me the opportunity to do basically one thing that I have never thought about this. And so I started to do this 30 eyes different, all different. So some eyes that are not even eyes, if one sees. They're all broken, all messed up. But these with other eyes that look like more eyes, more like real eyes, then has created some interesting outputs in the way of artificial intelligence. So basically, what I can say is that yes, Playform tool makes artists do something that they don't expect. In both ways, like outputs that you cannot understand, you cannot. You don't expect, but also you don't expect to change your mood of work to create these new things.
Right. And you kind of, you entered the crypto art world, sort of, it's still emerging and it's still very new and fresh, but you really entered it when it was very new. Can you?
Yeah, it was new in Ethereum because basically the first experiments was done in Bitcoin in counterparty, and
Right.
I wasn't aware of this. I don't know nothing about that.
But you entered it in a very early stage.
Yeah.
So you do have a very specific perspective on the crypto art world. Do you have any kind of tips or sort of secrets for an emerging artist who wants to be in the crypto world?
But this what I want to say is also for art in general. If you play music or if you play on stage or whatever you want, you have to do. The only rule that I choose to follow is to be true with yourself and follow what you want to do. Because if you do your art with your soul and with your heart, I think that people understands it. I don't know how, because is a communication that is between the image and between of what you appear and what you do. But people understands this. The mass of the people basically, okay, this is the guy that does this thing because he has this need to, maybe in my case, to break the machines. Okay, and this is the only rule, that the only thing that I can say to newcomers, but also to people that maybe don't find a solution in what they do.
And what about the crypto community? Do you see
now,
as
now is really fragmented, the crypto community, and this is a pity, because when we started it was very compact, very going really strong. But I see that not only the crypto community, but the web. Okay, 15 years ago I was in DeviantArt, and then it was starting to grow. Then arrived Facebook and broken up. But the internet and the people that really believes in this digital democracy, I suppose, are really strong, and then regrow from what they have done, and also that the memory is good, because there are young, they are old, and all these things together are going really good.
Right. It's definitely a diverse community, and but it's also very niche. And I think that is what makes it so special.
You have
So
to follow us, Mirabel.
yes, I know. It's definitely a complex community, and it takes some research to figure out what you all are really doing. But,
Yeah.
in the art perspective, it's like extremely interesting, and it really is towards the future. And kind of on that note, where do you see the future of the crypto art market?
Oh, now there's a ton of people that are putting inside some ton of money, and then it's like when there is the free bar, and then you can drink whatever you want, and then you get. It's like this. The moment is like this.
Mm,
I think that this wave must come. How can I say? Now the wave is big, and now you have to become smaller. So also the small players will come in, and also the small collectors, because everybody can be a collector, can buy a small edition maybe. Well, what I've said also in other interviews, that we need an aggregator maybe, or a way to show better this all this art, that put together all this art, and maybe to curate a bit, because we need also a curatorial
right.
way to show art.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about this before, but like the beauty of technology is that it is accessible. And what we pride ourselves on at Playform is that really anyone can, be an artist and use
Absolutely,
technology.
absolutely.
And also with the crypto world, anyone can, sell their work now with Ethereum. And so I think, the beauty, but also the complexity of that is that anyone can do it.
This democratization of art, democratization of these micro movements that before wasn't oh, I lack of words, that there wasn't for all. Okay,
Right.
it's like when you have got to buy music from the store, and now you have also the digital stores. There are comes and goes in the stores. It's basically the same thing, I suppose.
Right. And I will say that kind of when we reflect on history with any new technology like the camera, there was this idea that, well, that's not real art because anyone could really have a camera. So
Exactly.
I think that with every, emerging technology, there is going to be that other argument that it doesn't make sense in art. But I would argue that it just makes the art community stronger with new technology, and it just makes artists, more able to create.
Absolutely.
And you are a perfect example of someone who is in Italy in lockdown. You weren't able to access your material, and so you still needed to create, and you use Playform. So I think that, it's important for emerging technology to be considered serious as an art form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah. So we have 20 minutes left. I see that there's lots of questions already.
Yeah, in fact, I was also reading them because they was popping up.
So yes, I just want to say to everyone, you are welcome to ask more questions in the chat, and we're going to start answering some of these now. So if you have any questions for Mattia, please write them in the chat and we will answer them. So
Okay, some spoilers behind me.
So Barbara said, "Hi Mattia, how long in
Ciao,
time
Barbara.
was the digestion of the AI before you started to get what you expect?"
Okay, in first days of using Playform, I was really lucky because I don't have a ton of money on my free account, but basically the first experiments was really good. When in the moment that I was aware of what Playform can do, I created some different inputs, and in that moment I have found some problems. So basically, the first time you are really lucky. Go and try and put inside whatever you want, and you find really good artworks. When you become more good in what you feed to the machine, then there are the problems.
Right. Okay, so Domenico said, "Mattia, do you think that you were making the artwork, or were you selecting art made by the machine?"
This is a nice question. Ciao, Domenico. This is a question that I'm also asking to myself because the generative engine creates a ton of material, okay? But like Domenico knows and also other guys, I have to do things in steps. So basically what I do is to apply strict rules in what I do. The rule here is only squares, small and big, black and red. Stop. The same thing in a Playform when it gives an output. I told myself I cannot choose between all this mess of images. So I've taken only the 30, the 40, and the 50. And then from that, I have extracted the material. Yes, there's a ton of work, but I don't care if selecting or creating is different. It's always art for me.
Okay, so Stefan said, "When Matthias scrubbed the timeline, it looks like the machine is dreaming. Therefore, I am really interested in Playform's new art site where the art is not defined as a single image, but a process you can experience." So I think that idea that the machine is dreaming, it's not a question, but I just wanted to say that.
No, he's not dreaming. He's working for me.
Mm,
I pay for it. He's working for me.
right, right. Another interesting way to look at it. Okay, so Bashar said, "How long you think until we see the first self-made AI masterpiece?"
What do you mean?
I think he
Self-made?
means how long do you think it will take for the AI to
To create. Oh, it's
create a
interesting. But I'm not the software engineer of the Playform. It will be cool. Yeah. What is self-making? Oh, I don't know. It's interesting this question, but seeing the acceleration that we have in software, maybe in the next 2 years we will see the first auto-generated artwork from a machine.
At the
Maybe.
rate that technology is growing, I don't think that it will be that far away, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Especially with platforms already like Playform, out there and accessible. It
But
shouldn't.
there are always humans that are playing around with software.
Right.
So basically, what is the difference between? It's always a material that humans have created because humans have created this software and the software have created the images. So basically, it's like the same. Who is the creator? I don't know.
Right. So Tom is asking, what is self-making? Which I think means, kind of basically what is creating for the self? What does that mean as an artist?
It's a question that goes in philosophy, while I'm working, I'm not thinking about philosophy questions. My partner in Sky Golp, Mattia Sumovigo, is the philosopher of, of our guys. I produce a ton of material, I produce a ton of things, and then I stand in front of this, and then the philosophy came out maybe. But I don't want, how can I say, I don't want to stare too much, because if I find the way that I have to look at this artwork, maybe I put this inside of a box, and I don't want that my art is inside of a box. I want that people will see whatever they want.
Yeah, I think that, I think I've kind of asked you before in our previous conversations, like, what does your art mean? What does it mean to you? And I think that is really
it's an interesting question. What does it mean for you?
Exactly. And that's the beauty of your artwork too, is that it's abstract. It doesn't have a particular meaning attached to it, because it's just a beautiful piece of artwork that can change for anyone. Okay, so we're still getting in a lot of questions. So,
but they can also write to me if they want. I'm on Twitter. I'm Mattia C. They can add me as a friend.
So I see that there is kind of a conversation going on in the chats, like this question of who made it. Is it the AI or the artist? And Tom says that the person who feeds the tool and chooses the results, or is the tool making the work without the tool?
It's an interesting question. I've got the same idea. Okay, it's easy. I pick some material from Google, I put them in the machine, and so the work is done. But it's not my way. I want my print. I want my watermark on this artwork. So because of these things, and because of the digital residency, I was able to create my own rubber stamps special for this series. This is an example, obviously, and everybody can do whatever they want. Maybe one can find the beauty in a ton of landscapes and then try with landscapes. I don't know. But I think that this material can never be possible without my work and without all this path that we are done together, me and you at Playform, because this residency was possible because of you and because of we have talked about this. And then in the good and the bad, how can I say, we are together in this. Right. You are asking me things and me responding, and then a second time the machine that have produced these things.
So there's another question here. What is your advice for the new artists who want to start their way in art and science projects?
Curiosity. Be curious. Be curious. Every day I start my day and then I say, okay, what's this? And also, when you start with curiosity, it's like having too much questions in your head, okay? And then sometimes, like I told you before, you have to apply some rules, because if you are too much curious, then you don't do nothing. So now we are all locked in our beautiful homes, or not, and so it's basically it's difficult to visit public museums and so on, but books, movies, read whatever you find around, go visit museums and theaters and exhibitions, and all this naturally will put out something. This works for me. This works for me. It's not a perfect rule, but the curiosity can be applied in different ways, I suppose.
So we have a question from Salasi, who said, how can this help artists in Africa? And I'm going to rephrase this and say, how can, Playform in this process help artists anywhere in the world?
This is this is interesting. I have only an idea that everything that gives democracy to people, give tools to people, can be good. This is but you have to use it. You have to understand how it works, and if find it is good for you. There's an artist, Osinachi in Super Rare, that from Africa is creating crypto art with Microsoft Word. So basically, everyone can do whatever he wants, and these tools are only doing good, but you have to use it.
Right. And kind of on that note, I saw that there was a question. I think, yes, it was Lawrence who said basically anyone could be an artist, but what does that mean? Just because I have a guitar and can strum a tune doesn't mean I'm a musician. But we're talking about the access to tools. And if you want to share more, Mattia.
The tools are tools. You can use it and you can become an artist, maybe, if the others say that you are an artist. But it's like when you understand a foreign tongue, okay? You have to practice, and when you practice, you find a solution. When you find a solution, you become an artist, I suppose. So the tool is for everybody, but the output of this tool, or how you use it, is up to you. I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for this. It's too much complicated.
It's a lot of philosophy in this chat. Does anyone else have any other questions? Please write in the chat if you do. I'm going to ask a question, Mattia, which is actually, before I ask this, Barbara asked, what is a masterpiece? Which is another kind of philosophical question, but I think it could be interesting to hear what you think about what a masterpiece is.
Okay. There are particular moments in human history that takes us in some moments, I suppose, and then a masterpiece is the crossroad between the right moment and the right expression of a art form. But I cannot tell you more because I know an art historian. I'm an artisan of the digital.
If anyone has any other questions, we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. I have a final question as well.
Yep.
Oh, Bashar says, do you think in the end the AI will start to make art, which we will not?
There was the previous question, I suppose.
Yes, but I think here they're asking that will the AI begin to make art which they won't even, register? I think, we don't have any answers because we aren't engineers, but I know that Mattia is a futurist and sees things in a futurist perspective. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it really starts with having access to tools, in my opinion, as we discussed.
But 20 years ago, I didn't know that I was in this moment. I will be here to playing around with software that simulates neural networks.
Right.
So basically, let's see what will happen.
I mean, you just have to wait and see. Yeah, exactly. Things are shifting and changing all the time. So thank you everyone for asking all these questions, and you can follow Mattia on Instagram as well.
I'm reading the questions that are popping out. I hope that someone will give me the text so I can answer. Ciao, Lawrence. Thank you so much, guys. I only read the start, and you are moving me. You are making my day. Sorry.
And before we, sort of end this webinar, I just want to show everyone, you can go to shop.playform.io/Mattia-Cuttini to view everything in the works here. And you can check out his latest exhibition. And then also,
yeah, the other link, the most beautiful one, of the internet, but there's also that video that you've seen before.
Yes.
Is
Yeah, if you want to read,
shop.playform.io/defined-undefined.
Mattia, if you have any other questions that you want to read too in this last moment. Okay, so you can also
hello guys. I will say hello to everyone. Ciao Big Comic Art. Ciao Sterena. Ciao Eleonora. Ciao Ahmed. Here we are.
As Mattia was just mentioning, you can go to shop.playform.io/defined-undefined.
Too much
you can see
links.
a video that we have and a little description about the Mattia Cuttini and his Playform Studio artist residency. And to view all the works from Mattia's series Defined Undefined, you can also go to this website. You'll be directed to his Playform exhibition page. And on this page, you'll find links to the works currently available for sale, as well as be able to sign up and receive notifications of future artworks for sale from this exhibition. And you will also be able to pre-order the upcoming booklet that is limited edition from the Defined Undefined exhibition. So please go to this website, check it out, sign up for notifications to make sure that you're on top of, when the new releases will come out for the exhibition. And thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We really love to have you here.
Pleasure is mine.
And thank you so much, Mattia, for your conversation and your wisdom as a crypto artist and a Playform user. It's been such a pleasure to work with you.
My pleasure.